Hey everyone, welcome back to the Under One Roof podcast. I'm here at Fifth Color Studios with Ashley and Pat.
Hey everyone.
Let's get into it. All right. Hasbro, the maker of the board game Monopoly, is trying to convince us that Monopoly is good for kids and their anger issues. The company found that 8 out of 10 people fight while playing the board game Monopoly. The brand took this information and created a campaign in the Belgian and Dutch markets, which includes 5 different creative sets. They feature portraits of kids playing the game and getting emotional, featuring a lesson that a child can learn from playing the game. What do you guys think of this campaign and the message here?
I personally love it. I think this is a great campaign. I really like the fact that they're taking something that could be seen as negative. I don't know how many people hate the fact that Monopoly gets super heated. But they're taking something that could be negative or seen as negative and flipping it and making it a good thing. So I really like this campaign, and it's such a fun twist too on their normal marketing or just, marketing the game itself. So
Yeah, I agree. I haven't seen a Monopoly game that has been played without parents or someone over the age of 18. So I feel like this is a good way for, parents and children to bond. Very good if you're a family that's, looking into that, because now in today's world, as soon as a teenager reaches teenage years, 13, that's when they start to differ into different things. And parents can't keep up, with the new apps and the Be Real apps. They don't know what stuff like that is. So this is a good way for them to bond and something that they grew up doing too.
Right. I feel like it's such an old game. And I love the marketing side of it. You can really say a product brings anything. And that's kind of what Monopoly is doing here, saying it's beneficial for personal and emotional development. I just think it's so funny. And you know what else Monopoly is good for is just wasting 12 hours of your day.
Seriously.
It's also what it's good for. So I think it's an interesting take on it. And I think they're kind of finding a new way to market the game. To appeal to a wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
But a child psych expert actually backs up the messaging by saying that fighting teaches children to express their emotions, to set boundaries, and to stand up for themselves and put themselves in other people's shoes. And she said that it also raises an important question to ask your kid, like how important is winning to them, and is it necessary to always be better than others? And I do think that this is a good lesson and maybe a good conversation to have with kids about dealing with emotions and resolving conflict yourself. But as I mentioned, this is taking place in the Belgian and Dutch markets. Do you guys think this campaign would be received the same by consumers in the U.S.?
I don't think so. I feel like in the U.S., I don't know, maybe this is putting it harshly, but I feel like kids are kind of coddled in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're overprotected. They're made to feel great with everything that they do. They're not put in tough situations. So even something as simple as Monopoly could throw them into a temper tantrum. And then it's like, okay, gotta stop the game. We're done.
Right.
Yeah, I could definitely see why they started this project overseas rather than bringing it to the U.S. because the U.S. currently, for kids, this goes against everything that's going on now. One, just like you said, Monopoly games take 12 hours. 6 hours minimum. Like, you're going to be playing for a while. We're in the stage where we're forced to make 30-second TikTok videos just to make sure.
Yeah, capture someone within the first 2 seconds. We don't have the attention span for Monopoly.
Or they're gone.
Yeah.
They're literally gone.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then now I feel like the parenting style of Americans, not all, but most parenting styles, what's going on now are, they're too busy for their kids. And this is forcing them to sit down with their kids and play, because more than likely their kid has never played Monopoly, and who has to introduce you to Monopoly? Your parents that grew up off of it. So I don't think this will go well in America, and they're going to be fighting the video game epidemic that's going on right now, and nothing's going to beat that right now. So I can't see it happening in America, but yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
I was curious on it too, and I actually found an article that kind of talks about the differences in American and European parenting. And I just wanted to point out a few that I think would impact the result of this campaign and maybe not work as well in America. And the article said kids don't get to be picky eaters in Europe. And I know that doesn't have anything to do with the board game itself, but I think it goes along with just like the lifestyle we live as well. Like in Europe, they don't get to eat French fries for dinner and chicken tenders, which I'm guilty of that when I was little, so I can't even say anything. But praise is not always given in Europe. Instead, they choose encouraging words while providing feedback or constructive criticism just more often. So they don't always give praise. They just kind of use encouraging words to start with. And then kids aren't raised to be competitive in Europe like they are in America. There's an emphasis put on participating, experiencing, and learning rather than being number one like we are in America. We try to be. I think they have a softer way of parenting there, kind of allowing kids to work it out themselves, giving them time, letting them figure it out instead of giving them a countdown like we do here. Like, were you guys ever around those parents that were like 3, 2, thank you. Like,
I was around parents that, I don't know if you guys saw this where you grew up, but there was like a leash.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There was like a leash portion where like having your kid on a leash in a grocery store was like okay for like a good like 5 years. And nobody said anything. Everybody was like, oh, he must be a bad kid. Like, I wonder if the parent is bad. Like, imagine how badly you have to raise your kid to be like, you need a leash.
That is like every
what?
child in Disney World on a leash.
For sure.
But honestly, oh my God, imagine losing your kid in Disney.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather lose my kid than walk them on a leash.
Yeah. He's a runner.
It's about the look for me. Hey.
My best friend is a kindergarten teacher, and I was like, she just started her class, new class, meeting her students. I was like, how does it seem? Like, this seems like a good class. And she's like, yeah, I do have one runner. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean, a runner? She's like, he's a runner. He just runs. I'm like, oh my God, imagine. But yeah, I think it does come down to like patience. And I think Monopoly is a game that you have to be patient at. And I don't think that kids in America, much less parents, have the patience and will understand the campaign or receive it the same way that it's going to be received in Europe.
Right. And I really appreciate the fact that they're calling out like feeling your emotions because in so many instances kids are told like can't act that way, can't yell and scream about this, can't do that. But yeah, just letting them like let it out, just feel it, get upset, get angry. And really, I mean, it's good to know how to argue and it's good to know how to lose,
right,
and how to handle that. So I think it's really good that they're saying like just get it out and get it out in this game in a fun way so you can understand how to do that in real life.
Yeah, that's right. And what you say there is the correct way of what should happen, teaching your kid how to lose. But most parents don't want to do that to their kids. If I have 3 kids and I bring this Monopoly game here, there's only one winner. Someone's leaving here like very upset. And, as parenting style is going in America, they probably don't want to deal with that. They rather let their kids play a video game or iPad game where they can choose the difficulty and win if they want.
You know what's funny? So I am an only child, right? And my parents, for some reason, like every birthday, every holiday, I got board games. But they're always so busy doing work and everything else that every time I ask, like, oh, I can't do it right now. So it's like, who am I supposed to play these board games with? So
oh, no.
I played by myself. I made up my own rules. I always won because of that. But I think that's why I'm so creative today now.
I think you also always lost, unfortunately.
That's probably
Oh my God, that's true.
You're a winner and a loser.
You got to have like 3 personalities playing.
Yeah. You like switch chairs. All right, now it's my turn. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is funny. I think it's interesting too. Like I don't know. Doesn't everyone already have Monopoly? Like who's still buying Monopoly?
So true. Yeah, like it's passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah, I have so many versions. I feel like at home, at the cottage, wherever it needs to be, it's there. But the other thing is, I was going to ask you guys: did you get frustrated when you played Monopoly, or is that a new thing? Because I feel like I don't know. If I had a bad shake, it was like, oh, bummer.
I got frustrated. Again, we're talking about the longevity of how long the game lasts. You're losing probably about a good hour into it, and you still have to play for a couple more hours. Like I knew 2 hours ago that I was losing this game, and I'm trying to force my way back into this game that I already know I'm losing.
Yeah.
So if Monopoly ever wants to sell, Hasbro ever wants to sell this game in America, they have to come up with a shorter version to be like, oh, I didn't find out I was losing until, the exact end. I don't know how they do that with the current rules that they have now. That's the only way they can bring this over here. And the board game has to be, minimized down. Because I still feel like board games are played, but only the quicker ones are played. Only the ones with immediate results. Like Uno's still very popular, even though it's a card game, but still like that. Not video game. Still very popular. Why? Because the quickness of it and the results that come right out of it, where Monopoly is kind of like, oh, you roll, your turn. Do you want this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? And like, while that's fun for us, the generation below us is just not them.
Yeah.
There is nothing more frustrating than going to jail.
I was just
It's
going to
the
say that.
worst.
I did get frustrated when every dice, I'd roll the dice right to jail.
Yep.
Right to jail.
Do not pass go.
No.
Like, come on.
Oh my
It
God.
teaches you how to pay your bail money at a young age.
Yeah.
Did you guys also, I meant to ask, did you guys play where like if you weren't paying attention, they could steal your money?
No, that's
No.
ruthless.
Okay, good. I agree. That was so rude, and I
played
hated
like
that. You'd
that?
like get up to go to the bathroom because it's a 12-hour game, and like people steal your money. You're like, what? And they're like, this is real life. This is how it works. I'm like, okay, jail. Right to jail.
Immediately table flipped over.
Yeah.
Game over for everybody.
Let
if I
out
come
those
back,
emotions.
Right, right.
my money wasn't there.
Pat, how did that make you feel in that moment?
When they took my money, I don't know why, I keep my mom's car, but I feel like they pushed me there. It's just like, what? You take my money when I go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
It's not a good rule.
Rude.
Very rude.
Very rude. Urf.
Coors Light and Corona have both made strides to become more environmentally friendly. So climate change is a growing concern for many consumers, and sustainability has become a priority for advertisers. Corona and Coors Light are positioning themselves for a new generation of consumers, and Gen Zs are in focus here. References to going green or carbon offsetting are important to Gen Z, as we all know, and nearly 73% of Gen Z consumers are willing to spend more on a sustainable product. Gen Z is important in the liquor and alcohol industry. By 2023, this generation will make up 27% of the world's income, so they'll have a lot of buying power overall, not just in this industry. Gen Z also values authenticity, so this is a challenge here, and basically they're saying that Gen Zs, myself included, will call out brands for greenwashing. So advertisers are working with a lot here. So sustainability, authenticity, and then on top of it, consistency. So to be considered credible by Gen Z, what do you guys think would be your plan of attack here? And how do you execute a campaign hitting all these three items?
I honestly think that they're doing a good job of like where they started. So they started by actually making changes within their organization.
Mm-hmm.
Before they actually went to market with it and started talking about it. So in the article, they talked about how they're getting rid of those plastic rings, which are horrible. I hate those things. And they're investing $85 million just to do that. Like that's putting like your action before your words, which is great.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Putting your money where your mouth is. I completely agree. Yeah, I think integrating sustainability into the product or into the company prior to advertising is so crucial. So the global VP of Corona kind of put it best when he said, sustainability is a better business than any other business. It's not part of the business, it is the business. And he's kind of taken strides to prove that environmental-based marketing campaigns for the brand have returned equal or greater brand equity and sales results than traditional product-centered campaigns. And I think that's incredible. I mean, if you can show that as a marketer, you're going to succeed.
I think these brands, they have no choice but to do it. Yes, it's the right thing to do. Yes, the world is going to be better for it, but they had literally no choice because every year that happens after this year, we'll have new information on how long the earth will last, what's happening to our atmosphere. So every time that information comes back, people are going to be more sensitive about like what's going into the earth, what pollution is happening. And if you're a big company and you're not on the right side of this before, that big breaking one comes out to where, they can give a definite year to be like, 2000, whatever, this is going to happen if we don't stop. And all the brands that try to transfer after that, the next generation is going to be like, no, you weren't trying to do that before. They're going to go with the brands that were doing that before the announcement happened. So all these brands that are doing, sustainability projects and implementing that into their products, they're doing a good job, because eventually there's going to be more information of what's happening to the earth. So they have to do it.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I feel like consumers and the newest generation of consumers are driving that too. Like they expect it. So you have to do it. And that's probably why they're seeing such great results from doing it and using that in their messaging. Is it works. They have to do it.
Yeah. I mean, in general, I feel like we've come to this point where like emotional connection campaigns have proven to be highly effective. And this has been true for Coors and Corona, especially their beach cleanup ads, which is super sad, because the saddest thing is that these beach cleanups that they showcase really only keep the beaches clean for a few days, but it also raises the awareness of like the magnitude of the issue that we have, is not only in America, but just worldwide. So my other question is, beer brands finding success in emotional connection campaigns, how did we get here? Like beer, emotion, sustainability, like how does that all work together?
Yeah, it's definitely a weird concept. But again, I think I'd go back to, it's like the consumer base. They're the ones that are driving it. And I think in the past, like generations thought, oh yeah, it's just beer. Beer is beer. It is what it is. I choose what I like. But today that doesn't really fly anymore. Like you have so many different choices. You're so overwhelmed with it. So what's going to make a company stand out and be important to you and make a bigger impact in your life? So if they have the message of sustainability, that's one thing that, okay, I can attach to that too. Like it's not just about the product anymore.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a big cancel culture. Brands, not obviously big brands don't really get crazily affected by it, but they can get affected by not doing the right thing. If you're not practicing sustainability, some customers, that have been loyal to you might move on to a different product. You don't want your competition to where, sometimes I buy this beer, sometimes I buy this beer, but this beer is going green, so now I'm just all that beer. You don't want to lose those customers. So yeah, they have to do it.
Yeah. And even just like outside of marketing, from a business standpoint, like you almost have to do it now. Like think of how your business might be impacted in 10 years if you aren't doing this now. Like it might come down to the fact that the government's going to tell you have to do things this way.
And you're not prepared.
Yeah. Or else you can't do what you do.
Right.
So might as well start doing it now when it's cheaper to actually do it and undertake it.
Yeah.
And be ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think it does, like the consumers are driving the messaging here, especially like you said before, especially because everyone buys consumer packaged goods. Like, and it's a crowded space. We've talked about it before, not only the seltzer market, but the beer market and all of the drinks. And I actually found a study that showed, industry research shows that 90% of consumer packaged goods, or CPG categories, grew faster if they marketed as sustainable. And between 2013 and 2018, products that marketed as sustainable grew 5.6 times faster than those that were not marketed as sustainable. So people are starting to care, and that's kind of showing, especially in the last 5+ years. And I think it's only going to grow from there.
Yeah, look how America's changed. We went from someone chucking something out the window on the highway wasn't that big of a deal. Now, if you see that, like, you're like, what? Like, it's hard to even walk past a piece of trash now.
Yep.
Let alone like actually litter. Like, I haven't littered in I don't know how long.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at just straws, like I feel like overnight they became horrible, and then everyone latched onto it, and then they're gone. It's just crazy how fast something like that can really make a shift in our culture.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's all up to the consumers. It's like someone decided it, we all caught on to it, and then boom, like and everyone hates paper straws, but yet we've decided as a culture, like, no more plastic. Like, we don't want to ruin, the turtles.
I
Save the
know.
turtles.
Yeah, it's horrible when you sit there with your glass and you have your straw and you're like, I gotta drink this faster because it's gonna disintegrate. But
Right.
it's like, I'm doing good.
One of
This
my
is good.
one of my favorite TikTokers made a TikTok that was like, we need to normalize being like a paper straw. You get in there, you do your job, and after about 5 minutes, you're tired and you're done for. It's like, that's so accurate.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
But one thing I wanted to talk about too. So I took some time to think through some examples of sustainable products and my purchasing habits, kind of looking at me as a consumer and what have I purchased in the last year or so that I remember I bought because it was sustainable. And maybe it looked cool to me, but it also was sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Some things that I thought of, most of them come from Target, but a dish brush, it has a bamboo handle and it was like eco-friendly. I bought it. Hand soap, the refillable like hand soap, so you're not always buying the plastic bottles, you're just refilling. Sustainable. Hairbrush, those wet brushes. I bought like kind of like bamboo infused something. I don't know. It was marketed that it was made from recycled material. Bought it, even though it was more expensive than the other one. It looked cool, and I purchased it.
Yep.
And then, of course, my New Balance shoes, which are the first sustainable shoe made from recycled materials. So it's the New Balance 574 Core. Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah, so I thought about this last night and I had a hard time at first, but then I started thinking about like even our house as a whole, some of the things we've done. So we did a Google Nest in our house, which helps reduce the amount of like heat that we're using or AC that we're using. And then we also installed blinds, and they're like the double cell blinds, which helps heat not come into your house and then helps keep it in your house. So some like bigger things that we've actually done. But yeah, we do like the hand soap thing too, glass straws that we use in our house. So it's crazy when you actually start to think about it, how much you are doing that you don't even really realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Mine's are a little bit more subtle. Starbucks. I have my own cup now. I always bring my own cup to Starbucks. Water bottle. I don't know the last time I've actually had a drink out of a plastic water bottle. And I also avoid plastic bags at the grocery store. And I try not to. A lot of people don't know this, that receipts aren't recyclable. I try not to ask for a receipt.
Oh, weird. Is it because of the ink?
I think so.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if they give me an option, it definitely can come back to haunt you at restaurants if you're at a drive-through and you're going window to window.
Yeah.
And you deny the receipt and they're missing something. But I definitely think it's worth it though, not getting a receipt if you don't have to.
Right. Yeah, no. And that's what I mean by it's like the little things. Like that kind of reminds me of the straw thing. It was like if everyone started canceling receipts, like, no, I don't need it, or just like via email. Like I know places started doing that. And like if you have your email on file, like I just get my receipt sent to me that way, and that's great. And I think if we could keep doing that with little things, that we could make like even a bigger difference. And I think that's what Coors and Corona are doing such a good job of, is starting with the little things, implementing them within their company, and then, marketing them.
Yep.
Definitely.
Start with the little things.
Yeah. All right. A royal reset is coming.
Yeah. My opinion on that, I don't know how you guys feel. Do you think Prince Charles is ready to take over for Queen Elizabeth? The Queen just recently died, as you guys all heard. I don't know if Prince Charles is ready. I don't know if his sons, Prince William, is ready after that. I'm really concerned about what's going on with the royal family. Why is everybody looking at me?
I should have phrased that differently. I'm actually talking about Burger King. His royal reset.
Okay.
But that is fair. Timing makes sense here. But no, what I'm talking about is Restaurant Brands International, RBI is what they're called, announced a $150 million marketing push and $250 million renovations and upgrades and remodels to their restaurants in the Burger King U.S. division. Royal reset.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. The wrong king. All right.
Wrong king. That's fine.
We're talking about the Burger King.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Same thing.
So the marketing program is called Fuel the Flame, and it will run through 2024. They've allocated $120 million to advertising and $30 million to support the brand's app and online sales channel. The 120 million ad spend is a 30% increase in its media buying capacity. So a huge push here by Burger King. The goal is to attract more traffic to the store and to build the brand kind of over time. So this could help narrow the gap between Burger King's sales and their competitor brands, which they have a lot of. Another improvement RBI is focusing in on is its digital offerings to support online and app ordering for their consumers as well. RBI also stated that they're planning to simplify the menu and their kitchen operations in general, kind of focusing in on their chicken sandwich and their Whopper. I'm not a huge Burger King fan, but putting yourself in their brand strategy kind of mindset here, what do you guys think of this strategy by RBI and Burger King?
First of all, love a good Whopper.
Really?
So good.
Really?
But honestly, I feel like even just their tagline, like the fan the flame, like I feel like, educated guess here, but I feel like they are seeing good results. They're feeling like they're, still kind of leaders in their field, but they're starting to see things shift and they are trying to stay ahead of the game. So that's kind of the way I see it from everything that I learned about them and what they're trying to do. But yeah, I feel like they're preparing for the shifts that are coming for them.
One thing I will say is I'm not a big restaurant goer, but I have been in a McDonald's maybe 10 times over more than I've been in a Burger King. I don't actually remember the last time I've actually been inside of Burger King, let alone eating at one. So I feel like them revamping their inside could definitely help. A big one, the two biggest ones that I heard in there are the app. McDonald's has an app. That's what I'm feeling like is their biggest competitor. McDonald's has an app which allows people to order before they get there, to pick up inside, to avoid wait time. And I feel like that app is going to coincide with them simplifying their menu. I literally can't name what's on Burger King's menu. I can literally name almost everything on McDonald's menu.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody in here can.
Yep.
Because it's been the same thing over and over. And when they add something new, it's like this big thing and everybody knows what it is. When they bring the McRib back, ew. But when they bring it back, everybody knows. Shamrock Shake, when they bring it back,
That's true.
everybody knows. But when Burger King adds a new item, you're like, okay, just add it to the rest of the items that I already don't know. So they took their two most popular items, which you could probably, that could be the double cheeseburger and Big Mac or whatever is big at McDonald's, and say, hey, we're going to stick to this, start over again, go back to what's popular, get people on the app ordering, their favorite, what was their favorite thing at Burger King growing up, and get all the generations and then expand from there. So I think this is excellent on that side.
Yeah. And even just from like business operations standpoint, I feel like part of this is due to labor shortages because during the pandemic, we saw a lot of like self-service options like ordering through an app, or we have a partner who does kiosks. So they saw a lot of self-service kiosks on the rise. So I'm curious if integrating that into their store now is going to reduce the need for having employees. They're streamlining their operations in the kitchen. So really making them able to withstand any kind of labor shortages so that they can still have a good product that people like.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think that's part of the whole kind of brand strategy. And I love the investment by Burger King because you need money, you need capital to invest in stuff like this. But that ultimately is part of the brand strategy and staying up to date with what consumers are looking for and kind of competing with your competitors that maybe you aren't keeping up with at this time. And I didn't mention it before, but the app will also includes a big push on their loyalty program, which we just had a partner that we dealt a lot with their loyalty program, updating information and kind of getting those loyal customers back. And I think that's a challenging thing, but when you come out with this really cool app and update it and all that, make a big push for it, that it could be successful.
I feel like that's one of the biggest parts of marketing right now. Rewarding people for buying your product multiple times. It's always been like that. So it keeps people to just know, hey, I accidentally went to Burger King 3 times in the last week, forgot my lunch. Oh, now you're telling me, I'm 2 purchases away from a free lunch. So it might intrigue me to come back. So I feel like that's a super big part of it. Obviously the app, and again, simplifying their menu so people, get favorites again. Everybody has a favorite at McDonald's. I know every time I used to go with my grandmother's McDonald's, she get the same exact thing over and over again. But that's because she didn't have to stare and look at the menu and just be like,
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yeah, it's a strategy for sure.
definitely.
The Royal Reset will target franchisees that meet a profitability threshold and explain how the remodel would permanently boost sales. So they kind of have to apply for this and get the benefits, but I think that they'll see really good participation. So previous remodels generated a 12% boost on average in the first year at participating locations, and then the improvement kind of tabled off at a 2% sales lift. But still, it's a very positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
The remodeling program will be financed partially by increased rates spread over the 20 years, and participating franchisees will pay somewhere between 4.5 and 6%, kind of determining what assistance they're provided. So, Ashley, we recently wrapped up a project with a client that has franchise owners. How does this make a campaign different, and how do you get them to like A, care about the initiative, and B, get involved in the campaign?
Yeah. So one thing that we learned from working on this recent engagement was that franchise owners really do want to feel connected to the brand, and they also want to feel like the brand is investing in itself. So coming to them and showing them, we're going to invest in our brand. This is how it's going to impact you, I feel like is hugely beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention that it also is really upfront asking the franchise owners to buy in by actually having them almost apply to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's giving them really good incentive to work hard to be a part of this change that's coming. But the fact that Burger King is actually investing in the brand, showing these are the steps we're taking to make sure that you have a spot with us in the future, I feel like that just speaks wonders for the franchise owners.
Yeah, that is very true. And it looks like so far the plan is appealing to franchise owners, since 93% of stores have signed up to participate in the Fuel the Flame advertising scheme. So it is seeing a lot of participation, and I think we'll see a lot of change in our local Burger Kings, because usually our Burger King, I feel like, would be the last to change. I don't know.
Definitely.
until they start getting bad reviews.
Yeah.
So if you get 93% and you say, let's say you're a big Burger King person and you're a traveler, you travel for your job, and you reach Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and there's nothing new in there, you're just like, okay, I'm calling corporate about you guys. Like, what?
Gonna complain.
Why do you guys still got porta potties? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Is that part of the remake, the remodel?
I actually have to, let me look up how many Burger Kings there are. Okay, guess. Pat, don't look.
Oh, sorry.
Guess how many Burger Kings there are in the world.
In the world.
So just to give you a little hint, they spread through over 100 countries and U.S. territories.
50,000.
I think that's way too high. I'm going to go, I'd say like 18,500.
You totally saw my computer.
What?
18,700
Whoa,
locations.
let's go.
So almost 19,000 locations. That's insane.
That is crazy.
That is a lot, yeah.
How many McDonald's are there?
50,000.
1 second.
Is that your guess number?
Yes.
She's like, 50,000.
Okay, get this. 38,000.
Oh, see,
Whoa.
that's closer.
So, that's significantly
lot.
more.
I doubled them up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if our location rebrands, we might just have to do a company lunch at Burger King.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I think they're actually rolling out this campaign already because, okay, I was working out this morning. First of all, they have to work on their placement. Like, don't put Burger King ads around workout videos. Because I was like, oh, man, that chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's what they want. But yeah, they had an ad, a spot dedicated just to their chicken sandwich. And I was like, I wonder if they're fueling that flame right now.
Yeah, they might be, honestly. All right, Q&A time. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss, you can email underoneroof@fifthcolor.com. So our question this week is, I've just been asked back for a second round interview to a marketing job that I really want. Any advice?
It's funny because we were actually just in a meeting yesterday. I was in a meeting with our VP of marketing, Marcus, and we are talking about hiring and recruiting. And he literally said, if someone just came in, sat down, and said, this is why I want to work at Fifth Color, he said he would hire them right there. So I think you just got to say, like, I mean, you're at the second round, right? You've already sold yourself. They want to talk to you again. So now, why do you want to work there?
Yeah.
Sell that.
Yeah. I feel like this generation has moved away from, that's a cover letter, right? This generation has moved away from the cover letter. If you apply to jobs online for Indeed, there's a lot of jobs that do not require a cover letter. Like cover letters are optional now. So I feel like this next generation is getting away from that. So yeah, that is something that could really, really set you apart. A personalized cover letter instead of just having this standard thing of what you can do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We just finished a round of interviews, and none of the people we interviewed sent a thank you or a follow-up.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. And I feel like little things like that takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That can go such a long way.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to show that you care and you want it and you
100%.
appreciate the people's time. Like,
Just a personal approach. Like you, at the end of the day, you have to remember, like, you're talking to a person as well. So it's like, it's just, you're a person, they're a person. Like, but then, yeah, taking that personal approach, like, not only am I qualified for this job, but here's why I want to work here. And like, you also have to think about what size, what's this company size? Like, we're 40, 50 employees strong. Like, we're a tight-knit group. We care a lot about Fifth Color, and we want you to care about the brand as well. Like, we want to know why you want to work here. Maybe a bigger company isn't going to care as much, but taking that, it also shows that you did research on the company. Like, hey, this is why I want to work here, because this and this. Here are your values. I value the same things. Like, this is what I want out of a job, and I think you could provide that for me. Like, it's kind of a two-way street, but I agree with the personal approach. Like, if you come in and you just say, here's what I've done, what do you mean? Like, we don't,
right.
Yeah. I think people should take my approach of what I did. After my second interview, I paid for 3 planes to fly over Fifth Color, and their smoke said "thank you" from Patrick. I couldn't pay for the last part of my name, so I just said Pat instead of Patrick. It'd have been a couple extra $1,000, but I would go there. And probably the biggest advice I got for the second interview is do not wear the same clothes. Remember what you wore the first interview. That would be crazy. Like, should we hire this guy? He has one outfit.
I don't think I'd even remember.
Wait, did you wear the same outfit?
I took my interview via Zoom, and I didn't know it was going to be video on. So I quickly had to sit on my floor and turn my video on. I looked crazy, but Ashley thought I looked cool. So
yeah, it's like, oh, she seems awesome. Let's hire her. She's just sitting cross-legged on the floor.
I'm so chill.
Pretty chill.
I'm sweating behind the camera. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, she's cool. She's chill.
Also, the craziest thing about my second interview, well, my first interview, I came 45 minutes early to kind of just, ease into it. But if you don't know Fifth Color has all glass. So I pulled up to the parking lot and I'm just like, oh, hey everybody. So now I gotta awkwardly get out the car and sit in the waiting room.
Dana said she did the same thing at the old office. She did a drive-by 3 times. She's like, I was really early, but I didn't want you guys to see. I was just sitting in my car, so I drove by and then went around the corner and drove again. I was like, oh my gosh. So funny. But no, I completely agree. Be personal. Show your personality, because at the end of the day, they want to get to know you as much as the work you've done and what you can do for them. They want to see if you're a cultural fit as well. So be yourself, show what you could provide, and then also, pitch yourself and pitch why you would be a good addition to the company.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. There it is. I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Toodles.